Well, we got to hit our little buttons
Got to
or
tab
whatever.
over to acknowledge, otherwise you'll remain muted.
Well, all right. Is everybody here? Ready to go?
Yep, we're all ready.
I'm
Let me
gonna mute.
start.
Okay, because I have the
thank you,
baseball
John.
game here. I'll just monitor.
All right. Thank you,
Oh,
John.
she just
Tell us who
left.
wins.
Oh, too bad. She just left.
So I wanted to welcome everybody to the monthly meeting, and there's a new person here, Margot, and there's Lupita. She's not really new, but she hasn't been around for a while, so thanks for coming aboard. So yeah, we got a full agenda tonight. In the news that I have before we get started, the first computer that was publicly available, the Apple II, was released this month 45 years ago by Apple. So that was just another a thing in time, just like we talked about with the iPhone being 15 years old in January. So
Computer, be quiet.
this computer started it all, and innovation like the iPhone and everything else that Apple has done since then has been a result of that first foray into computers, which was the Apple II. Anyway, that's old news. Just wanted to let everybody know. And I think Annie wants to talk about something to start us off. So if you're ready, it's all yours.
I'm not sure. I'm going to try it. I have my iPhone here. I think you can see that. I see it in my little picture. And what I want to do tonight is demonstrate the iNote app. We had some trouble with it last time.
Yes.
So it has a little tiny pyramid, a green pyramid, and on the back of the money, the currency, and there's a pyramid there. So I guess that's why they took that symbol. But I have downloaded, it's called iNote. It's free in the App Store. So we go and download that. And I have here, it's over on near my finger, and I'm going to tap that and open it. It's all it does is just read the currency. Doesn't do anything else. So I have a $5 bill here, and I will put it in range of camera.
$5 front.
It says
$5
$5.
front.
Pretty good.
$5 back.
And I'm holding the bill upside down. It doesn't make any difference. And
Very good.
I demonstrated this yesterday in our low vision support group here. So I have
$1
it.
front.
It's ahead of me.
$1
It-
front.
You can get it just almost
$1
anywhere.
back.
And I have it upside down.
Very nice.
And that's all it does is just say that back and front, and it will do it over and over again. And you can just identify all your cash up to whatever. So
It's quick.
it's very quick.
Mhm.
And I like that. It's got one thing and it does it well. So that's it.
Thank you, Annie.
Good
I
job.
know I had trouble with it last week. I saw the banner in the front of it that says the denomination in the front or back. But my phone, for the life of me, would not say it no matter what I did. So I felt kind of like, oh boy, I'm really showing these guys a new app and I can't even use it myself.
A couple of times I've had trouble with an app and then I uninstall it and wait a little bit, just like unplugging the computer the way I used to do it, and then reinstall it. And so far that's worked.
Oh, I'm glad that you got it working. That's wonderful. It's a good app, by the way. So, very good, Annie. Thanks. Anybody
You're
have any
welcome.
questions for Annie on the money app, iNote? And I think that's spelled, by the way, EYE note, right?
Yeah,
Not-
one word, EYENOTE.
Okay. So if you're looking for it in the store, that's what you look for. Well, all right. Huh?
Manny, if I just disappear, I'm not feeling that great tonight. So if I just disappear, I'll catch up with the news when you send it out.
Well, I'll always release the notes. If you get those, you'll be caught up. So,
Okay.
Penny, did you want
Yes.
to talk about the CBS app that you downloaded?
which app is it?
She downloaded the CBS app so that she can listen to Stephen Colbert at night.
Oh, CBS, the television story. It's
Okay, yeah.
This television studio network. I like Stephen Colbert, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, but it's too late for me. I go to bed fairly early and get up early. So I discovered I could go in and pick up, I like the monologue. So then I discovered I can download the CBS app, and it's very easy to get to The Late Show then.
Oh,
So I think he's one of the funniest comedians around. So it works well. I don't
So-
know how it would work with voiceover. I haven't used that because there are some different selections.
so in looking at the app, it's just a basic layout. You have a screen and you have a tabbed navigation section at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, there's different shows across the bottom.
Okay.
You can pick that.
I pick up a lot of things on YouTube. And I just subscribe to YouTube Premium so I don't get commercials. And I have a lot of things I really enjoy on YouTube. And even
I'm
though I
sure-
subscribe to a lot, I don't have to pay. You know, the premium's worth it to me because
Mhm.
you get tired of commercials after a while.
I know.
They overdo it.
What is the cost of premium, by the way?
I really don't know. It's like $12.95. I don't know. I just signed up for it and because I got 3 months free.
Okay.
If you sign up for it through Best Buy, through their app, you get 3 months instead of 1 month free.
Well, it's good to know.
I read that online last week, and that got me to subscribe. If I don't like it, I can quit.
But so far you like it.
Yeah, well, I watch a lot of cooking shows, and when you're
Me too.
inundated with commercials, oh yeah, I just love to watch them. They're entertainment.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't watch murder mysteries, so you got to watch something.
yes.
Very good. Very good. Well, okay. If there's no questions on the CBS or the iNote stuff, I'll start my little thing off then. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about, let me just look at my notes here because I'm not smart enough to remember them. So let me see here. Okay, so Barbara turned me onto this a few weeks ago. You can ask Siri what flights are above your head, what's flying over you, and they'll give you flight information on any flights that are above you. So I can demonstrate that if you'd like. Let's see here.
6:49 p.m. Calendar.
Let's see here.
Tuesday.
Hey Siri, what flights are overhead?
I found an answer. It's displayed on your iPhone.
So Siri displays it on the iPhone, and I'll put my finger on it so it'll start reading it.
Result. Heading. Vertical line altitude, vertical line angle. SkyWest Airlines flight 3,461, vertical line 36,000 feet, vertical line 30 degrees up. Delta Airlines flight 720, vertical line 35,000 feet, vertical line 11 degrees up. American Airlines flight 570, vertical line 22,900 feet, vertical line 6.7 degrees up. SkyWest Airlines flight 3013,
Anyway, you get the idea. So it's kind of cool.
It didn't say where they're going to
I noticed that it just says the altitude and the flight number.
and the flight number. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's great. Like if you feel something dropping on you from the sky, you can always check to see which flight you're doing it.
Yeah.
Hopefully
was
it's not
funny.
what I think it is. So that was basically that one. I thought that was a very interesting one. And Barbara is always coming up with some new stuff to make me think and make me listen.
And it doesn't report on UFOs?
No UFOs.
You-
Martian Flight 7 to wherever. So, yeah, so any questions on that? Just another nifty thing that Siri does for you. So,
That's interesting. Mhm.
yeah. Let's see what else I got on my little list here.
Overhead question mark close deposit checks without.
Okay, so for those of you who are already or thinking about doing online banking on your phone, before you go, no way, you should really think about that, because if you get any kind of checks or anything like that from anybody, you now have the ability to deposit those checks via your phone. And of course, your phone has to have a password and PIN and Face ID, Touch ID, whatever it is, to secure it. So only you can do that. So what it does is like, so I'm with Wells Fargo, and let's say I get a check and I need to deposit it. In the past, I would have to gather all my checks, go down to the bank, and then work with the teller to get them all done, all deposited. Now, as I get a check, as soon as I have some time, I open up the Wells Fargo app and I go to the thing that says deposit checks. And what it does, it asks me for the amount. I type in the amount, and then I take a picture of the front, I endorse the back, and I take a picture of the back. And those pictures give it everything it needs, like the routing numbers to take the money from. It checks the signature and name and the amounts. And if everything's kosher, it actually will process it as if you did it in front of a teller. And it works really well. I've been using it for months now, and it works great. You never have to go in the bank. So it's just another step in this whole digital revolution that we're kind of going through. And it's going to get more that way and less paper oriented, And again, this is just checks. I don't know if checks are going to be around for a long time. I know we can still use them. They're not gone, but we still use cash and checks. But instead of going into the bank and having to deal with that and then getting a ride and all this good stuff, you can actually do it from the comfort of your home securely with your bank. So I just thought that's interesting. I got no way to demo that because first off, I don't have a check to deposit. But I could open the app up if you'd like and let you hear what it sounds like on the interface. So let me do that.
Okay, and then you gotta teach Maggie how to do it tomorrow.
Okay, I'll show Maggie when I see her. I will definitely show her how to do that.
6:54 p.m.
I do it with my bank all the time. And if you don't
Oh, you
have
do?
it
Okay.
lined up quite right, it tells you. It's really
Mhm.
good.
Yes, so that's the part that I'm not going to be able to demonstrate. And very good, Nancy. Thank you for that. When you put the check down, you got to lay it on a contrasty surface. So if it's a light check, which most of them are, you'll want to put it on a darker background. And the reason you do that is so it can detect all four corners, and then it can tell you how, when you get it right into focus, and it can take a snapshot of the front and the back. And it's a pretty interesting way to do that. So let me go to my bank app. I'm a Wells Fargo guy, so let me go over there.
Page 2 of 4.
I do it with US Bank and Chase.
What's that?
I do it with US Bank and Chase, and I
Yeah.
love to use Zelle.
Yes, and Zelle's another way to transfer money from you to somebody else
Mhm.
if they're on Zelle. And,
Or even to yourself between different banks. I do that all the time.
yes. So it kind of gets
Cool.
us out of the going into the bank business. That's why I'm showing
Mhm.
it. So if you're on the edge about this, and if your bank trusts it, you should be able to trust it too. You just have to be a good custodian with your security, meaning your phone has to have a password and preferably a biometric thing like a Touch ID with a button or Face ID. So you are you, and you're the only one that can do that. Because when I go into Wells Fargo, and I'm going to launch it now, it's going to do a Face ID verification to be sure I'm the one using the phone and not somebody else using my phone. So let me do that.
Wells Fargo.
I don't know if you guys can hear this. Let me see.
Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo. Wells
There
Fargo.
we go. Okay, so I'm going to tap on Wells
Double
Fargo,
tap to open.
double tap to open, excuse me. Hold it in front of my face.
Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo logo. Image. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo logo. Image. Logo other. Window. Wells Fargo online. 55%.
Let me take the speaking rate down a little bit.
Containers, headings, links, words, lines, speaking rate, 50%, 45%. No thanks. No thanks.
So I'm getting some kind of bug screen to get a card or a product, so I'm going to say no on that.
No working. To account summary. Well,
So at the bottom, just like any other interface, at the bottom, there's tabs. And one of these tabs, at least on the Wells Fargo, and it could be on the Chase and Bank of America and whoever else, they're going to have something like this.
deposit. 4 or 5.
So deposit,
Bank. Working. Working. Working.
and it just takes a second. I'm slow.
Wells Fargo Business Online. Link. Image.
If it takes mine a little longer because I'm doing the video feed plus all my other devices.
Deposit.
So what you do, it's going to ask you for a few pieces of information. I'll go through this quickly. Trust me, I'm not going to take a long time on this. So the important pieces of information are,
Deposit to.
you're going to choose an account to deposit to. So I would choose
Deposit to business checking.
business
Default,
checking.
Enter amount $0.
So
Button.
there you would enter an amount, $50 or whatever it is. And then you would go down.
Photos. Photo tips open. Front of check. Go to take photo. Dimmed. Button.
And that's the front of check, and I would snap a picture and it would capture all 4 corners. And most importantly, the routing and account numbers at the bottom, I think, and they want to be sure it's signed, so they'll look for a signature and that the amounts filled out and all this good stuff. So nothing is left to chance. And if everything lines up and you do the front and back, okay, and then you hit go or whatever or deposit, it'll verify and it'll tell you it's been requested, and they will still process it and let you know if there's a problem. 99 times out of 100, I never have a problem once it accepts it. So, and that's how you can do some mobile banking and deposit checks without having to go to the branch and be there physically. And it's really helped me in my life because, waiting in lines at the bank and with all this COVID stuff and everything else and the craziness that are going on in my blindness, it was really a lot harder to do it the old-fashioned way. So I hope that helps if anybody's on the fence about this. So any questions about mobile deposits or online banking? I can help with that if you have any questions. All right.
Wells Fargo.
Close
Hey,
that up.
hey, Manny.
Yeah.
Manny, I was gonna say that Walmart has the tap now. You could, the new cards have the little thing that you could you run it in the top of the register or the money reader, whatever it's
Yes.
called,
Scanner.
where you pay.
Yeah,
And all
so
you
Penny?
do is,
Oh, never mind. Answer her
all
question.
you're doing is you're tapping it and you don't have to put in your PIN number anymore, which
That's
is real
right.
cool.
just like online banking, Patty's talking about a feature that's very closely related, and that's called Apple Pay. And once you enable that and you put a card in your wallet, your digital wallet on the phone, you can then tap to pay. Now, you can't just tap the phone. You have to go to Apple Pay and say, go ahead and pay this. And then it'll negotiate, with the amount that you're supposed to pay with the phone. It's just a tap. It does it instantly. And then it's just like if you slid your card or you put your card into the reader, it replaces that. So these are
But I
things
guess not all the cards are doing it. There's only a certain, like the new one that I just got was with Wells Fargo. My old one didn't do that, and now this one does it. So you could just tap it.
Again, they have to enable the feature, and these cards with chips on it, that's what they're doing. The chip inside the card is part of that process. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
Patty,
Yes, sorry, John. Go ahead. Sorry.
a quick question. What, I just kind of monitoring in the background, but which bank app was that you were using?
Mine,
Wells Fargo.
just called Wells Fargo. Let me just make sure that's the exact name. Hang on. a
No,
second.
that's okay, because I bank with Chase, and of course they have the same kind of ability that you take a picture of a check.
Mhm.
I've not used it, but I'm tempted to. And like I say, anytime I don't have to be schlepped somewhere is a day that makes me happy.
Give it a shot, John. And maybe if the pictures are hard, taking pictures is kind of a sighted kind of thing. Maybe if you have
Yeah, well,
somebody
that's where I can kind of cop out. Having a sighted wife, I'd probably hand the phone to her. I would sighty-eyes it, as I like to say. I'd take voiceover off, like the screen curtain, take the screen curtain off and take voiceover off and say, here,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit of a cop out, but we usually do these things when it's under, we're time pressured a little bit. And my attitude is kind of like, I just want to get the chore done. I don't want to turn this into a tutorial. That issue would be forced if I lived alone without, readily available.
You'd find ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh
Fine.
no, I would check it out, and I might check it out just on principle. And what if she's
Sure.
out?
But you know what,
somewhere?
John? It kind of tells you if you're not, level with
pictures,
it.
right.
So
You don't say try again.
Yeah.
or-
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
And it's
Because
like,
I use Chase and US Bank because I have an account at both. And what I do at the beginning of the month, when I get cash, I'll go to the bank for that so that I can get some cash, and I'll get some cashier's checks because I get free ones. So if I
Okay.
run low on funds because I made a mistake or because something came up, I can deposit that money. And if I don't spend it by the end of the month, I can put it in savings. And that works for me because I can't always get to the bank. Or sometimes my
Yeah.
Chase account gets low and my US Bank account has money in it, and I'll move money. So
Mm-hmm.
using
it
Zelle, and
happens-
it helps me a lot.
As
And
it helps,
sometimes friends pay me for something that I had, and they'll just Zelle it to me. And it's free.
Yeah.
as it happens, I always had banked with Wells Fargo, but about a month, over the last 2 or 3 months, I switched over to Chase. Because I sort of inherited Wells Fargo, and it worked well enough, but I decided to switch over totally, except for some
They're
Arizona
actually
Council
both
accounts.
very good for us.
Chase has an off the charts banking app. I mean, the Chase mobile
Yeah.
application is just
And
beyond
you know-
awesome.
oh,
Chase detects that if you're using voiceover, and it gives you the bigger print for some reason. It just automatically does it. I never picked it.
Wow.
And I was like,
Wow.
wow, it just detects that you have a vision problem. It's like, all right, thank you.
Well, I don't know if it's detecting it in my case, unless it knows I've got voiceover running, but I mean, the application is off the charts.
Yes.
I even wrote them a
know,
very
John?
commendatory, because they asked, how do you like our app? And I said, I'm gonna tell you right off, I'm a blind person. Your app is
Yeah.
fully accessible, off the charts, accessible. There's not anything I've tried to do that I wasn't able to do, and with relative ease. So,
Yeah, they've been real good lately. They've been asking a lot of, even for mortgages and all that, they're asking if we need more help with the accessibility.
yeah, well, not to get blinky political, but they have had a presence at the American Council of the Blind Convention, so we've had some entree.
No. Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah. And think of all the federal funds they're getting. They ought to follow the Americans with Disabilities Act. That's always my position.
Mm,
If anyone gives me a hard time, I said, well, you got to follow the Americans with Disabilities Act
yeah.
when
Well,
you're in the United States.
I wish it was a matter of settled law beyond dispute.
Yeah, I know.
that the ADA is covered with website accessibility. The circuits are sort of split on that. And that's another
Target
discussion.
got bit in the foot about that a long time ago.
Okay, well, like I said, it's another discussion. I want to go back to, I'm just keeping it
Okay.
near cock, go back to my game here.
hey, John, before you go, I was thinking if you wanted to work with the deposit app, maybe there is a jig or a stand that you could use to position your phone and then position the object like the check relatively accurately, and you might be able to just do that and be able to snap pictures of your checks pretty simply, but I don't know if that exists. So, I just wanted to throw that out there in case you were interested in doing that.
Make a little frame for it.
Yeah, they sell these they call them jigs, and you can
Mhm.
put your phone in one piece of it, and then you can put a document or a check or whatever it is in a framed area, And
Mhm.
then the orientation between the phone's camera and the document will always be the same, always be in focus, always be full encompassing of what you're trying to capture. And I think that would be a solution for us because it's hard to be a camera person when your vision's shot. You know, that's no good. And even if it tells you all corners are visible, if you're still moving the camera around, maybe it'll blur when it takes the picture. You never know. So I know
Good
Barbara
idea.
and I had lots of problems with seeing AI just identifying things because it's really hard to orient something in front of the
Perfect.
camera and it's not being able to see. I mean, that's a miracle that we can do that at all. You know. So.
I have a scan jig, but I really haven't mastered it in the way I've set it up. So one of these days I'll get around to it.
Yeah. So are there any more questions about online banking or deposits or what Patty mentioned, the Apple Pay kind of deal? And if not, we will move on. Let's see here.
Going to the bank. Moving icons on home.
Okay, so I don't know how many people have a use for this, but I thought I'd include it. If you want to move icons around with VoiceOver on, it's not that hard to do. Has anybody tried to do that with VoiceOver on?
No.
Yes,
But I know Patty has.
I hate it, but I'm doing it.
Okay, let me demonstrate. I'm going to move an icon from one screen to another. And you can also move it from one of the home screens, that's what they call each of these screens, down to this bar. I forget what they call it, the bar down
The
here.
doc.
The dock. Thank you, Barbara. So
The Barbara.
don't get old, guys. Let me see here.
70.
Let me see here.
Wells Fargo.
Let me find an icon that I want to move just for fun. Let me see here.
eBay. Page 4 of 4. WhatsApp. Page 3 of 4. My cloud.
Okay, let's say I'm going to move eBay. So I'm going to find eBay. I just heard it. Let me just get back to it.
And left southwest. eBay.
Okay, for you visual
Double
people,
tap to
I have
open.
the phone up in front of the camera. I have eBay selected. And all you got to do is swipe up with one finger until you hear the word edit or edit mode, I believe. Let me try that.
Edit mode.
Yeah, right there. I'm going to double tap that.
Started editing.
Now we're editing. It means we're going to make edits to the layout, the visual layout. This is the visual thing, by the way. And then once you start editing, you start swiping up again with one finger to find the drag guy. So let's do that.
Activate. Default. Drag eBay.
We're going to drag eBay. Now, very importantly, to drag it, you're going to double tap and hold on the second tap and then move it to the right side of the screen. The screen to the right will come into view.
Finished editing.
Oops, there. I took too long. It goes out of editing. Let me try it again. Anyway, you double tap and hold, and then you drag it to wherever you want. So let me get to that double tap part again. So I'll go through it without talking. So let me see.
Edit mode. Started editing. Activate. Drag eBay. Icon approaching border. Move to page 4. Icon approaching border. Move to page 5. Icon approaching. Move to page 4. Double tap and hold to perform move by hold and drag. Is editing.
So that's it. And then when I do the home gesture, now my eBay icon has moved from screen 3 to screen 4. So I have a lot of icons. So sometimes if you want to visually arrange these, it's a good thing to do. If you have, what I do is most of the apps that I use on a daily basis are on the very first page. So when I hit home, that's the screen that has all my daily use apps, or as many as I can fit on there. And then as the pages,
Finished editing.
as the pages increase in number, home page 2, screen 2, 3, 4, it's descending in the usage. That way, if I'm going to go to the second screen, I don't have to swipe a few times to get over to get an app. I can just go right to the second screen and get the app that I use less. or stay on the home screen if I'm using an app that I use all the time. That's a good way to visually do this. And again, if you're using VoiceOver, this will make no difference for you because you're probably going to ask Siri to open an app that you want to use. But if you want to edit that app, delete it or shift it somehow, this is the way you have to do that. You can't do it through the voice assistant Siri. So that's basically it. It's just go to edit mode, go to drag, do your drag, release it, and then hit the home gesture to end the editing session, or it'll time out after a minute or two like it did for me. So any questions on moving icons around on your screens?
Manny, why don't you talk about getting rid of an app? True
Oh,
editing,
sure,
sent you
sure.
right there.
So I'm going to pretend to delete eBay, the same app that I just drug over. So the same gestures apply. You're going to go to edit mode,
Edit mode.
swipe up with one finger, of course, and I'm going to tap on edit mode.
Started editing.
And then I'm going to look for the one that says delete.
Activate. Default. Drag eBay. At eBay is delete.
And if I do that one,
Alert. Remove eBay.
so here's the message about the remove confirmation. This is what it says.
Removing from home screen will keep the app in your app library.
So you have three options. You can remove from home screen, you can delete the app, or you can just get out and cancel what you're doing altogether. If you delete the app, it deletes the icon on the screen, but it also uninstalls the app from your phone. It's gone.
Finished editing.
Hang on. And then if you do just remove from home screen, the app stays installed, but the icon's gone. So if you tell Siri to open up the app, even if the icon's not there on the screen, it'll still be able to open it, but it won't be displayed on one of your home screens as an icon. So it's always good to delete apps that you don't need because they are taking up space, they are being updated. So less is more with these devices. So the less it has to do, the better the performance is going to be. So I hope that's cool. You cancel out of that.
Cancel. Back. What?
Okay, any questions on dragging or deleting apps? All right, so let's see what else is on my
Manny,
little list.
really quick, this is Lupita.
Lupita?
So if you delete it, it doesn't fully delete it from your library. Is that what you're saying?
No, if you delete the app, it is deleted from your phone as if it's not installed anymore. You can still go get it in the App Store again. You'll get a re-download option because it knows you downloaded it before. But deleting the app actually deletes the app. It removes it from the phone completely.
And so you recommend us delete the ones that we're not using because it takes up a lot of space?
Not so much space, but resources. Because for every app that you have on your phone, Apple or the app will automatically download updates. So it's always checking for updates for each of your apps, not every second, but every so often. And it'll download in the background while you're doing other things, and it could slow you down. So you don't want to be carrying all that extra weight, extra apps, if you're not really using them, you know. I think what I do, if I don't use an app for like 3 weeks and I'm not going to use it, maybe a couple times a year, maybe I'll uninstall it or there's another way to do this too. You could remove it and send it to iCloud and store it up there. That's another way, but we didn't go over that in this little thing here. But you want to take out anything that you're not using, you know, and I'm not talking about system things. I'm just talking about apps that you've downloaded from the App Store. I'm not talking about taking out Magnifier or something like that. You should leave the built-in apps there because it's all part of Apple's stuff. But the third-party apps you bring down, you should definitely take a look at those. The eBays, Wells Fargo, anything that's not an Apple accompanied app that came with your phone.
Okay, and one last thing. When you were able to drag it, I tried to do that and it didn't move and it just made a bunch of sounds. So obviously I must have done something wrong.
Well, you have to drag it real slow, Lupita, because and I don't know how to explain how slow you do it. So when you swipe up with one finger, you go to edit mode, and then you swipe up with one finger, get to the drag thing. You come down and you do a double tap and hold it on the second tap, and then start moving it, not too fast. And it'll say approaching right edge, and then it'll say screen whatever the number is, because you just went from the screen you were at to the next one. It'll keep you informed about where you're at. And then when you're ready to drop it on that screen, you just let it go. And then it doesn't give you a confirmation. It just says, okay, it's there now.
So Manny,
Gotcha.
are you moving your finger as you're moving it, or is it moving by
That's right.
itself?
You're dragging the app with one finger
Right.
is what you're,
Right.
yes. And as you get
Are
to
you moving your finger to the right or left or anything?
right or left, wherever you want to put it down in the dock and you got an empty space, yeah, you can go down low. You can move it in any direction you want.
Okay.
I just moved it to a screen that I know I had space on because I visually looked at it. And I just moved it to the right and it said approaching border, and then bam, it went across the border, and now it's in this other screen under my finger that I still have held down on the glass. And when I want to drop it, I'll just leave it there. I just raise my finger up off the glass. It then drops it into that screen.
It's fun to move them, Lupita, once you learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was moving them too fast and it wasn't even saying anything. So I'll have to play with that more. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Very slow, yeah. All right, Lupita, is that all you needed for that? Or are you okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right, you got it. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next thing. Let's see.
Screen and dock. Deleting apps.
We just went over deleting apps, so that's done.
Hiding wallet.
Okay, so a few weeks ago, or about a month ago or less, Arizona was the first state to allow you to use your wallet to present your ID to whoever you need to present it to. I don't know if anybody heard that news. Okay, so your wallet can store things like your credit cards, if you so desire. It can store your driver's license or IDs. It can also store things like your SunTran card, like you use the bus or you use the Sunvan. You have a card, you can store that there as well. And this goes far beyond just taking a picture. Let's talk about your ID for a second. We'll talk about credit cards and Sunvan stuff later. Just your ID, okay? So you can't just take a picture of both sides, put it in your wallet and call it a day. It's a big deal. The wallet in Apple is tightly integrated with ADOT. So you have to do your pictures, you got to supply some information, you got to take a picture of your face. ADOT will then process that to make sure that your ID is yours and your face matches what's on there and what they have on file. They will then send your phone, when they figure it out, either an approve or denial that you can use that as valid ID. So it's not just a picture, it's actually a validated ID through ADOT. So I want everybody to know that. So in the Apple Wallet, you would say add a ID and it'll step you through it. It'll ask you like one or two questions. It'll make you take a picture. Then you'll have to do a picture of the back and front of your ID, and then you submit it to ADOT, and then ADOT will send back a confirmation. And that's not an instant process. It takes them a little bit of time to do that, maybe a day or two. So if you wanted to store your ID in your phone, I think it's a good idea because you can still use your physical ID. You could also use the one that's in your phone. So, and it's accepted in Arizona everywhere that IDs are asked for. So, and then your wallet can also store things like credit cards. You can put them in there. You can link them up to this Apple Pay feature. And then like Patty said earlier, you could then choose the card you're going to use to pay the vendor, pay the store. And you would have to hold your phone up, get a Face ID or a Touch ID or whatever it is, And then the Apple Wallet will open up for you and allow you to select the card. And then you would bump the credit card reader, and it would charge your card for the amount that the teller or whatever told you it was, or whatever's on the display. And you would pay it that way, just like you would a card, sliding a card. And I have not explored the bus card side of it yet, because I haven't put my bus card on there. But I have put a credit card, and I have put my ID into the wallet, and I'm pretty happy with it. It seems very secure. The famous last words, but I think it's okay. So especially, I was impressed with the ID being tightly integrated with ADOT, and I imagine when this is rolled out to all the other states, there's going to be that kind of tight integration between the state entity issuing IDs and your wallet. So you can't just throw a picture of something in there and call it your ID. It'll never work. So any questions about Apple Wallet and ID or credit cards in your wallet?
I was, this is Patty. I was gonna tell you, since I travel international now, I did it once. There in the airport in Cancun, everybody had their ID on their phone. I thought that was the coolest thing, because we think we're ahead of Mexico. All these people were showing I was pulling my ID out of my purse, and everybody had it on their phone. I thought it was the coolest thing.
So Patty, when you saw them using their phones, were you able to see what they were doing? They would just tap the thing that
Yes,
or the person was using to check the IDs. And that's all they had to
yes,
do.
that's what they were
That's amazing.
tapping. And obviously they had their e-tickets or whatever on the phone, and then their ID. Everything was on their phone. There was no paper at all.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
So there you have it, a real life example of digital identification and use.
Mhm.
Okay, let me see what's next on my list here.
Review notification settings.
So I wanted to go over notification settings with everybody by app. I'll go through the screen and explain what each part of it does. So let me get to my notifications. So you go into settings and you would go into notifications. That's where this is. Let me
7:24 p.m.
go in there.
WhatsApp.
Go into settings.
Settings. Settings.
And towards the very top, there's notifications.
Cellular. Personal hotspot. Notifications.
So it's like about 5 or 6 down from the top.
Scheduled summary. Off. Button.
We won't go over the top, the summary and reporting stuff right now. We'll just go into an app, and we can show you how you can turn things on or off, and how the notifications work. Okay.
Siri suggestion. Choose which apps can notification style. Amazon. Off. Button.
All right, we'll go to Amazon just for fun. So on my settings, I have notifications off for Amazon. They could send them to me all day long, but I'll never get them because the phone is saying, no way, he's turned them off and you're not getting any through to him at all. So what I'll do is I'll go in there and show you how you can re-enable them. So I'll go into this Amazon, and it's a list of apps in the notification settings area. It's in alphabetical order.
Amazon. Allow notifications. Off.
So if it's off, that's the
Double
only
tap to toggle.
that's the only thing that's on the screen is the toggle button. When I turn it on, then the screen below it fills up with all kinds of options. So I'm going to turn it on.
Allow notification on.
So we'll go down the screen a little bit.
Always deliver immediately. Heading.
So there's a heading.
Time sensitive notifications. Time sensitive notifications are always delivered immediately and remain on the lock screen for an hour.
So when a notification is sent to me and it's marked time sensitive by Amazon or whoever it is, that's the rule it'll follow. And it'll show on the lock screen. It'll have a thing say dismiss. It'll automatically go away after an hour. That's what that is. You can turn that off if you want to. Say, I don't want to receive those time-sensitive guys. I don't care about those. So we'll keep going.
Alerts. Allow on lock screen. Button.
So there are banners that come up and you can turn them on and off. So if your phone is locked, meaning that it's gone to sleep kind of and the screen is black, when an alert comes through, it can wake the phone up and show it on the lock screen. That's what that one is. Let's see what this one is here.
Selected. Allow a notification center. Button.
So notification center, that's the area where all the notifications are listed, or you can ask Siri, what are my notifications? It'll go to the notification center and it'll list all of your notifications that you haven't been told about yet. The difference between the two is the notification center will show you the ones that you haven't seen plus the ones you've seen in a bigger list. Let's see here.
Allow as banner. Button.
Then of course, if you want to see these notifications as a banner instead of just a sound, you would tap that option and then a big banner would show up and VoiceOver would read the banner to you. So let's keep going. So those are the visuals there. Let's keep going.
Sounds. Off.
So because
Tap to toggle set.
because I had the notifications off, the sounds were off. I might have toggled those before I turned the whole thing off. But if you turn those on, turn the sounds on, then I believe you can just hear the sound of their notification. Let me just verify
Sounds.
that.
Off. Lock screen appearance. Heading.
Let's go there.
Sounds. Badges. Off.
So
Double tap to toggle.
the sound is controlled by the app, whatever sound they choose to notify you with. That's the sound that you'll get. You can also override that in the sound settings of your phone as well. And badges, after the sounds here, those are those little red circles that you might, for those of us who can see a little bit, you might see them on an icon like mail, and you'll see like a 10 unread messages. It'll be a 10 and a red badge with white lettering inside of a little circle. That's what badges are. And that number will increment as more notifications come in that haven't been checked off or marked as seen. Okay, so the next thing here.
Lock screen appearance. Heading. Show previews. When unlocked. Default. Button.
So previews are banners, basically. That's kind of what it's saying. They'll show you a preview in the banner. It might do the very first few lines of a longer notification. So that's what a preview is. Keep going.
Notification grouping. Automatic. Button.
I haven't explored the grouping of notifications. We can look into that. I'm not sure what that does.
Notification
Let me
group
just see.
selected. Automatic selected. By app. Off.
So I don't know, it doesn't explain what automatic grouping is. I would imagine that like apps and function, like your social media apps, your notifications grouping will be that way. Your social media apps grouping, your notifications from messaging apps would be in a different group. I believe that's it there. So you can choose to automatically do it, meaning by what kind of app it is, or you can just choose it by the app itself, or you can turn the grouping thing off completely and it'll just do it one by one, no matter what. So let me get that back.
Amazon. Show previews. When unlocked. Notification grouping. Notification.
And that's it. So if you turn these notifications on, you got a lot of control over what you can see and not see. And most of these things that I just went over, you can turn them on and off. So you can turn them all on, and then you can go in and just cherry pick which ones you want to leave on, or you can turn the whole thing off in one fell swoop. Most people do that unless it's the phone app, of course, because you want to hear phone calls coming in. If it's email, you probably want to keep those open. But most other apps, unless you really like that app, if you like the KUAT app or KOLD news app, maybe you want to hear news that's come down the wire. Well, you turn those notifications on so you can hear what's happening every once in a while.
Badges.
So that's kind of the way
Rows 1 to
notifications
3.
work on your phone, and they're done by app. So,
Allow notificate off.
so I turn that back off. And then, of course, in the list of apps,
Notification.
it'll tell you,
Amazon off.
it'll tell you the
Button.
status of each app. So mine said Amazon off. Let me find one that's got something like this one.
App Store. Banners. Sounds. Badges. Button.
So the App Store is provided by Apple. So if I get something in the App Store that they think would call my attention, it'll do all of those. It'll do the badges, the banners, and the sounds and all this. I can go in and say, no, I don't want banners or I don't want sounds. Just give me the, the badges or whatever. So that's kind of the way that works. And a phone can get real noisy if you let all notifications from all apps come in. You'll spend your
Right.
whole day trying to clear them. What was that? I'm sorry.
No, I was thinking, yes, like being at church and having all your Facebook notifications and all this stuff. And people think, oh, they're blind. They have to hear all that. No, we have to learn how to
Yeah.
do that so we could be in public, right? I have
Well,
notifications on when I'm at home,
Well, your social
Patty?
media app,
Yes.
This is Maggie. I find that
Hi, Maggie.
if I wear my Bluetooth,
Yes.
then I can get all those everything comes through that, and I don't disturb
Right.
anybody.
But so you're being socially okay right there
Responsible.
because you're not, uh, I was at church and this lady said, oh, it's okay because they're blind and they have to hear all that. I'm like, no. That was one good
well-
class that we used to teach at Savvy. Learn how to silence your phone when you're in public, So that was very good.
But the thing is, Patty, Maggie again, I walk around with the stupid Bluetooth in my ear. I bless Manny for getting me into that when I first started, because if I'm in a restaurant, they're reading the restaurant, the menu to me. AI is, and it's coming into my Bluetooth.
That's
Anything
right.
that I want, and it does not disturb anybody.
Right.
By the
That's
way,
perfect.
I wanted to tell you on the record, which works beautifully. If you're at a doctor's office and you want information on a medication or what they're doing or what a test, put it on your recorder. And you go home and you can play it and get it right there.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's a
Geez.
good,
Very good.
Maggie's talking about the Easy Voice Recorder app.
that's a very good one. Easy voice recorder, by the way. In fact, I would say it's better than the built-in voice memos app that comes with Apple. I hate to say it because I love Apple, but these guys did it right. So, yes, very, very good tool. Okay, any questions about notifications or anything Maggie and Patty said, Barbara? Okay,
You want to talk
Okay.
about how you silence your phone?
you mean with the switch?
Yeah, or can't you ask Siri to silence your phone?
I always just use the switch. I'm sure you could tell Siri to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. That's another way of doing it.
Okay, so
So
you
there's-
could tell Siri to, I thought you could also tell Siri to silence your phone.
Yes, what you can do is you can tell Siri to Do Not Disturb. And what that does is that tells the notification center to not disturb you at all until you take Do Not Disturb off. The switch above the volume controls, a little lever switch in here, that mutes the phone. So if you get a call, it'll still come through, but it'll be muted. And only thing that you would indicate to you that there's a call there would be the haptic feedback of the phone, the vibration of the phone. That's it. So there's two ways to kind of mute your phone sound-wise, but they do different things. So
Manny, you have to turn voiceover first before you mute it. Otherwise, voiceover comes in and says silent call.
oh, it does say that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So
you
that's a good
you have to turn off voiceover first before you do the switch.
That's right, because voiceover is trying to keep you informed, and then you're telling your phone not to keep you informed. So yeah, I hear you. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that's the caveat there. Turn voiceover off to keep it from being a chatterbox when you don't
And I
want.
believe the little switch says muting and unmuting.
That's right. I can show you that now.
7:36 p.m.
Let me. So right now I'm unmuted. If I mute it, this is what it sounds like.
Muted.
Muted, and then I'm going to hit it again.
Unmuted.
And what I'm doing is I'm flipping the switch towards the front of the phone where the screen is, where that you look at, and then to the back of the phone where the camera is.
Muted.
Muted. So if it's facing towards the back, it's muted. Towards the front, it is
Unmuted.
unmuted. So if you're muting your phone, no sound will come out of it. This is good for like going to the movies or church. And then do not disturb will do that too. It's just a different road to roam here, but it will keep the phone quiet for you, which is what we want to do.
Mm.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Barbara. Okay, let's see what's next here.
iCloud backup status app.
Okay, so a very important thing that your phone does is what's called an iCloud backup. And what that does is it takes all of your data on your phone that belongs to you, your settings, things in your apps,
Apple Store.
oops, sorry, everything, and it puts it on the cloud. It does this automatically. But if you wanted to force a backup, I can show you how to do that. So you need to be in settings. Let me get here real quick. Hang on.
Settings. Back setting.
So in the front door of settings,
Wi-Fi. Rows 1 to 6 of 100.
so in the front door of settings, the very first thing that it shows is your name. Like here's my name.
Manuel Celis.
Okay.
App.
If you want to check to see that everything related to Manuel Celis is up and backed up on the iCloud, you're going to tap on the name.
Edit.
And then you're going to go to an entry called iCloud. So I'll swipe to the right to get down there.
Manuel's Romani name, password, payment, and subscription. iCloud. 50 gigabytes. Button.
So iCloud, and it tells you the capacity of your iCloud account. If you're paying 99 cents a month, you get an extra 45 gigabytes, total of 50 in your iCloud. You get the first 5 gigs free, which should be okay for pretty much everybody, but I got a lot of stuff on mine because of the business. So I'm going to double tap on iCloud.
Storage. Heading.
And we've covered the storage piece before, but I'll just go to it so you can hear what it says.
iCloud Plus. 12.1 gigabyte off 50 gigabytes used. Docs,
So I got about
11%.
37 gigs out of 50 free, and I've got a ton of stuff on there. So I'm not going to use up my 50 anytime soon. But those what the backup does is it backs up everything on your phone. And let's say your phone gets lost or burned up in a fire. You get another iPhone, you hook up to your iCloud account, and as soon as you say restore from your last backup, your iPhone will look just as it did on the phone that it backed up from. So you always want to make sure that the backups are happening. You don't have to check them every day, but maybe like once every few weeks or a month, you might go in there and make sure it's backed up. You can force it to. So let's get to the backup stuff. So we tapped on iCloud after your name, and now we're going to go into, I think it's called backup. So let me go down there.
Manage store photos. iCloud backup. On.
iCloud backup, that's got to be on. If it's off, that's bad. You want to make sure that's on. That's almost a deal breaker there. You want to keep that on. So do that.
Backup. Heading.
So let's go down a little bit. The screen's very simple, just got a few things on it.
iCloud backup. On. Automatically back up your apps and data to iCloud when this iPhone is connected to power, locked, and on Wi-Fi. Learn more. Link. Backup now. Button.
That's the button where you can do a manual backup. If I tap that right now, it'll begin a backup. And when it's done, well, when I tap it, it's going to say cancel backup, meaning that it's backing up. And then when it's done, it'll say backup now again. And I think that's basically it. Let me see if it's what's below it.
Last successful backup, 10:23 a.m.
So my last successful backup was this morning at 10:23. So it's on an automatic schedule. I don't know what that schedule is. I probably should have looked that up before I put this on the list to talk about. But I can tell you that it's a very good automatic thing. And that's what I use. I use the automatic backup, and it keeps me out of trouble. I can sleep at night knowing that in my iCloud, whatever I got on my phone, it's stored encrypted and secure up in one of Apple's servers up there. So any questions about the iCloud backup? All right. All right, let's see what's on here now. Let's keep going to the next one.
Manual backup. MagSafe.
Oh, I wanted to talk about another technology that pioneered by Apple. It was first done on their computers, their laptops, and now they're doing it on the phones, and it's called MagSafe. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that term before. Has anybody heard that anywhere? Okay.
No.
So MagSafe is a technology, and the first part of MagSafe, MAG, stands for magnetic. Okay, that's what that is what how they're doing wireless charging right now. They're using. I don't want to get too deep into the nuts and bolts of it, but they're using a magnetic way to couple your wireless charger to some coils in the back of your phone that are that are inside of your phone, and they detect each other and they line up, and then they can do that. What MagSafe, what they're trying to do now, they're trying to extend that to allow like cases to not only magnetically be on your phone, but it can actually use that medium to transfer information. And I think what they're trying to do with MagSafe is that sooner or later they want to eliminate the charge port at the bottom and seal it up completely instead of having an open port. And everything that you would do with that port, you would do with a MagSafe device. And I know that doesn't make a lot of sense to people who have never used MagSafe before, but that's a technology that they're rolling out as of 2020. And they have cases that have the MagSafe standard. So what it is these cases use that technology, but they're also intelligent cases. They're like little mini computers as well, and they're talking to your iPhone and negotiating how much power to send it or how much of this to send that, and they're talking to each other on their own. So it's like an intelligent case, an intelligent power supply. So you're probably asking, well, why is that important? The important thing is for like charging, let's say, if you use a normal wireless charger available today anywhere, and it's not a MagSafe charger, the best you can hope for is about 7.5 watts of power transfer. And that wattage is a very important number in the speed of charging your battery. And with MagSafe, they can double that because the MagSafe device, the charger, negotiates with the iPhone the fastest rate that the iPhone will accept without any problem. And right now, I believe it's at 15 watts, which is double what a regular charger delivers. And that's important with batteries because it takes a long time to charge your battery. We can go down the rabbit hole on battery charging, but the thing is, the bigger that number, the wattage, the faster your phone is going to charge and the better it's going to charge. And the technology in MagSafe and the phone have to keep that wattage under a certain threshold because you don't want the battery to heat up. because these batteries, these lithium batteries, are known to be dangerous if they're not managed very well. So that's what all this is about. And it's going to expand from charging into other places as soon as Apple starts developing new things to do that. So I don't know if that
Yeah.
completely confused you or not. It's not an easy thing to get your brain around, but that's kind of what MagSafe is all about. So if you hear the term, at least you had an introductory to it. You say, oh yeah, Manny talked about that or something. You'll know a little bit. So any questions on MagSafe or the standard? Okay. I'm gonna go to the next thing.
Navigation gestures.
Okay, I wanted to, for those of you who are using VoiceOver, I wanted to review navigation gestures again. I've done it once or twice in the dozen or so classes that we've had, but I think it's always worth a refresh on that because gestures are the hardest things to do on the phone, especially if you're still using your vision a little bit. I find that like when I teach gestures, the more blind a person is, the better they learn this because they're not relying on their eyes. And it's not a crime to do that. It's just gestures are how you interact with the phone when you're using VoiceOver or even when you're not using VoiceOver, when you're just tapping it or swiping, those are gestures. But VoiceOver changes all that and you want to be sure you know how to navigate. Now, somebody like Lupita, she's got these down pat because she has to use gestures and Siri to use her phone. She doesn't even need to have the screen on. Sorry to pick on you, Lupita, by the way. And I think it's important to be able to do these gestures without looking at the phone and be confident in them. So I'm just going to go over a few of them real quick while we're here. So let me open my phone up.
7:48 p.m.
So the first gesture is you want to do the home gesture. If your phone does not have a home button, you have to use one finger, and you swipe up until you feel 2 haptic taps. So I don't know if you're able to hear that, but I'm going to do it here.
7:48 p.m.
And that's the home
Settings.
gesture.
iCloud.
So I'm on the settings screen. If I want to hear what the next item is on that screen, I take one finger and I swipe to the right.
Backup. Heading.
Keep going.
Backup. Heading.
I'm at the bottom. Oh, heading.
iCloud backup. On.
So if I want to go back the other
Double
way,
tap to toggle set.
that's one finger swipe to the left.
Backup. Heading.
If I want to read the screen, the whole screen, and nothing but the screen, that's 2 finger swipe up. So I do that.
iCloud.
Okay.
Back button. Backup. Heading.
Okay. Now, if I want to read it from backup heading down and not include the stuff before it, that's 2 fingers swipe down.
Automatically
Oops, wait a minute.
iCloud backup. iCloud backup. On. Automatically back up your apps and data.
If I want to pause speech, that's a 2 finger touch. So I'll put these in the notes. There's one more gesture I want to show you, but I got to get to a screen that I can scroll for you to see that. So let me go back.
iCloud. Back button.
And of course, the other gesture in VoiceOver is to activate a button or a link, and that's 1 finger, tap twice.
iCloud.
So if I'm in a list and the list extends beyond the screen in either direction, bottom or top, I use 3 fingers and then I'll swipe. If I want to go down the list, I'll swipe up. If I want to go up the list, I'll swipe down. So let's say I'm at the top here and
iCloud Plus.
I want to go down the list. I take 3 fingers and I'll swipe up. And then if I just touch one of these list items here, I don't know what it says. Let's see.
Contacts. On.
I'll go another screen.
Double tap to toggle setting.
And this does it 1 screen at a time, by the way.
News. Off.
So if I want to go back up,
Double tap to toggle set.
I take 3 fingers and I swipe down. And you'll hear that little chirping noise. That means you did it successfully. So those are the big ones. There's a lot of other gestures too. But if you get those down, you can pretty much navigate anywhere. And then there's also other rotor ones too, but I won't go into that today. Just giving you the top 5.
Manny, You want to do the
Yeah.
double tap to open, to answer the phone and close the phone?
Yes, that's right. So there is a gesture when you want to hang up your call. Let's say you're on the phone, and for us blind people, we can't look for the hang up button, or we don't have a physical button we can just press. The Android users can press a physical button to hang up the call, but we don't have that. So the way we do it is we take 2 fingers and we tap twice on the screen. That's called a magic touch, and it works differently depending on the context of where you're at. If you're in a phone call and you do a 2-finger double tap, it will then hang that phone call up. If you're listening to a podcast or something, or some audio or video, and you do that, that magic touch gesture will then pause what's being played. If you do it again, it will then resume. So it's a nice little gesture to know. And then, as Barbara said, when you answer a call, if it's ringing and you want to answer it, just come right down on the screen. Don't try to figure out where to touch the screen. Just come down and double tap quickly without trying to move around, and you will answer the call because the focus is on the answer call button. So if you double tap the screen, that's the button that will activate when you want to answer a call. If you put your finger on the screen and start moving the focus around, well, then it's going to jump off of the answer call button. It could go to decline, it could go somewhere else. And then you'll have to find your way back to that answer call button and then double tap. But rule of thumb on phone calls, double tap with 1 finger to answer, double tap with 2 fingers to hang up. And of course, you can just press and release the power button to reject a call and send it a voicemail. Those are the 3 things you can do with a phone call, outside of merging and everything else that we've talked about before. So any questions about that? Okay. Let's see.
How about answer with a message?
Answer with a message. You know,
Instead
I
of
think there's
answering.
an option. I'm sorry, Patty, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Instead of answering the phone, you could just tap and send a message to the person.
That's true. I didn't go into that, but yes. So what Patty is saying, when you are receiving a call, your phone's going to let you know. One of the options outside of just answering or declining the call or rejecting it, you can answer with a message. And there's some built-in messages. Can I call you later? And there's some other ones you can write a custom message. And what that does, that lets the caller know that you're going to call them in a little while, or whatever the message says. And you can still continue on what you're doing, whether you're in a call or you didn't feel like taking the call at that moment. You can let the other person know, I got your call, I just can't talk to you right now. And it's a message option, and it's on the screen if you look for it. I don't know exactly where it is. Patty, do you know where it's at, by the way? Save us a little time. Do you know where?
Yes, it's right above the answer or decline.
Okay, so you would then use a 1 finger to swipe back to the left until you get to the answer with message, or is it called answer with message?
Yeah, I think it says, I forgot the wording, but I think it says something like that, with a message.
Something with message. And then what it'll do, like I said, it'll present you with a message list. You'll choose one, and then you can continue on your way. And then the caller will receive the message. And then that'll be at least something for them, if you can't answer the phone. I've never used it. I know I've heard you use it before, and I believe it works okay, actually. So, Okay. Let's see what's next on our little list here.
Screenshots.
Okay, has anybody ever used screenshots before? They get something on their phone and they would like to take a screenshot of it.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
I do that
okay.
all the time.
Okay, so we have a couple of people that are old pros at this. So for the rest of us, how you do it. You get something on your screen that you like. It could be a web page. It could be anything, okay? And then what you do, I believe, is you press the power and the up volume button at the same time. And you press them and release them quickly, and you'll hear like a camera shutter kind of thing. So I've got my iCloud stuff here from what
I
we
just took
talked.
your picture.
Oh, you did. So I'm gonna try it here. Let's see what happens. Let's see what it sounds like. I'm gonna put it closer to the mic so you guys can hear it. Let me see. It goes.
All
So-
timing.
So what it does, it takes a screenshot,
Apple ID.
and when you go into your Photos app, you look under screenshots. All the screenshots that you've taken will be there, and it's really cool. It's a really cool thing if you want to capture a screen. There's some other screenshot not alternatives, but what do you call it? Extensions or features. I know of one, but I haven't tried it yet. So if you have a long screen with a big list and you want to capture more than what you can see, well, there's a way, and I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I've heard of it. When you do the screenshot, an option comes up and you can scroll, and you hit that, it'll scroll the whole screen, and it will take the whole screen from whatever's on the screen all the way down to the end and put it into a screenshot. I've seen that done on some of these platforms like TikTok and some of the others. They were showing people how to do that. Very interesting thing to do. So
That's real interesting because a lot of times I'll watch a video of making a cake or something and I want all the directions and it takes multiple screens. So that would be interesting to figure out.
Yeah, let me put a pin in that. It's something I wasn't prepared to show that today, but I think there's a way to have it capture the whole list. I know people do it. I just haven't tried it yet, so I can't really speak on it. But I will put a pin in that for next time, and I'll demonstrate.
Thank you.
Scroll list. Yeah. Now, if there's no questions on the screenshot one, you're going to love the next one. So let me make sure that's the next one before I do it. Let me see here.
Screen video.
So just like screenshots, you can take a video of a screen. So let's say that you're on YouTube and you want to capture what's being said and what's on that YouTube video. Well, you can do that. You can actually do this, and I'm going to show you how. So there's a setup for it, a one-time setup, and then I'm going to show you how you actually do that. So to get this to work, you have to go into the control center settings, and you have to add a control center piece. So let me go there.
Apple ID. Apple settings. Setting.
So I'm in the front door of settings, and we're going to go down to a thing called control center, or I'll just go down the list here.
Bluetooth. Cellular. Personal notification. Sound center. Focus. Screen. General. Control center.
It's called control center, and it's right below general and right above display and brightness. So if you go in there,
Swipe down from the top right edge to open control center.
so your control center has a bunch of icons on it, and you can choose which icons are shown. So the thing that you have to do to enable video of your screen is you have to include, and let me get down to it, there's a
Flashlight. Included controls.
controls, so call these controls. So let me go down to the control you need.
Flashlight. Apple TV reorder. Apple TV sound recognition. Screen recording.
Called screen recording.
Options available.
So screen recording, and what you do is you turn that on, and then it becomes part of the control panel. So if I wanted to record, let's say, a YouTube video, and I wanted to record it and be able to play it back, I would go to the control center, I would enable screen recording, go to the YouTube video, and do it. So let me demonstrate one here. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to go to Safari.
Safari. Safari. Page settings. Button. Address. Webcams. Address. Home. YouTube. Library. Link.
Okay, so it's loading YouTube. It takes a second because I got a connection.
Load. Customers being a penny short. Heading level.
Okay, so there's a video called Customers Being a Penny Short. And let's say I want to record that, for like 10, 15 seconds, and then I want to play it back to you guys. So what you do, you add that control first, and and you do that one time. After that, you just go to your control panel when you want to record. We'll try that.
Notification center.
Oops.
Notification sent 8:01 p.m. Safari.
Try that again.
YouTube. Watch YouTube. What YouTube?
I have the hardest time opening Control Center. Hey Siri. Open Control Center.
Sorry, I can't open that for you.
Here we go.
That was the other series.
All right, there we go.
Airplane mode.
All
Switch
right.
button.
Sorry, my gestures don't
Double
work
tap and
100%.
hold to show.
So in my Control Center, I added a control called Screen Recording. So let me go find that. In fact, it's probably the last one. Let me just go down to the last one.
Screen recording button.
Looks like a little record button.
Double tap and hold to show more control.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start screen recording, and then I'm going to go back to the video, begin playing it, and then I'm going to go back to the Control Center and stop the screen recording. Now, it works really well. So I'm going to start it now.
Screen recording. 3, 2, 1.
So it counts down. Now it's recording. So I'm going to go to
Safari.
this YouTube thing.
Customers being a penny short.
So it's going to start playing.
Customers being a penny short. Indefinite time. Video playback.
So let it play for a second. So I'm going to stop the playback with that 2-finger tap thing.
Enter full screen.
Maybe.
Control center.
Let's stop recording.
Selected.
Someone was a penny short.
Okay.
Honestly, probably nothing.
Screen
because being a
recording.
penny short
Now.
and
Okay. Now I recorded it up to there. I hope I didn't lose anybody. So
Yeah.
I had to turn recording on.
YouTube.
I started the YouTube video and then I turned recording off. Now I want to go see if that recording is available. So I go to my photos
Photos. Double tap.
and we're going to go
Photos.
into,
Date live photo. March 25th. Page 48 of tab bar. Albums. Tab. Selected. Albums. Tab. Shared albums. Edit. Recents. 268 photos. Shared. See all. CapEx. People and people. 2. Media type. Videos. Selfies. Live photos. Bursts. Screenshots. 4. Button.
so screenshots are the things that we were doing before with the power and the up arrow button. That's where all the screenshots are stored. So let's keep going.
Screen recordings. 1.
And there's the one screen recording I just did. If I go in there,
Screen recordings.
and I choose it,
Video. 803p video. Screen recordings.
I can then play it, I think. Let me try to play it.
Screen recordings.
Oops.
Video. Video. Screen recordings. Today. Edit. Video. Play video.
Play video. And here we go. This is what I captured.
Play video. Video.
So let's see what happens.
Safari. YouTube. Customers being a penny short. Customers being a penny short. Indefinite time. Video playback.
There it goes.
Enter full screen.
So that's basically the video. I think it's going to stop in a second here. But you see how the
Control center.
iPhone can actually
Select.
record videos. And this could be just you browsing the screen. It could be videos that are playing. It could be anything, and it'll create like a screen recording. So if you're bouncing through an application, you want to show somebody how you do that, you can start recording and you just start tapping on things and people can see what you tapped on and what you're doing. So it's a handy little feature for capturing your screens in a recording. So, any questions on that one? All right, so we're gonna go to the next thing. Let's see here.
Airplane mode and Siri.
Okay, so whenever you travel on an airplane, they're going to ask you to put your phone into what's called airplane mode. I'm sure you've all heard of that. I'm sure a lot of people have done that. You can do that completely with Siri, but you couldn't do too far in the past because Siri relies on the communication to work, but they fixed that, and you can tell the phone to turn airplane
quiet.
mode off. What's that?
I'm sorry, I was talking to Siri. She listened to you.
Oh, sorry. So what you do is you tell it to turn airplane mode on if you would like, if you'd like to stop your phone from sending out any kind of radio frequencies around you, because your phone basically has a few different transceivers, radios in it to do Wi-Fi communications, Bluetooth, cellular, you name it. So what happens when you go to airplane mode is you shut the transceivers off. You're saying, I don't want any communications with my cell phone carrier. I don't want to discover Wi-Fi stuff, Bluetooth stuff, you name it, it doesn't do it, okay? And that's what airplane mode does. It kind of stifles the radios on your phone to keep them from receiving or transmitting any kind of data. And that's required when you fly most airplanes now, at least in the beginning, the takeoff and the landings. So the way you do that is you just tell Siri to turn airplane mode off, or turn it on, excuse me, when you want to stop the transmission from your phone. And then when it's safe to do so, and they say it's okay to use your phones again, you would then tell Siri to turn airplane mode off, and then your phone will resume like it did before. And Siri now allows you to do both. And the reason I bring it up is because in the not too distant past, when you would ask Siri to do it, she would give you a warning. She would say, if you turn airplane mode off, you're not going to be able to summon me anymore to do any more stuff. And what I've discovered is that they fixed that. They said, well, if you tell Siri to turn airplane mode on, and she has no connection to the Apple mothership, so to speak, you can still do a limited amount of stuff with Siri, like telling it to turn airplane mode off again, or very basic function. You can't do anything like asking it a question about data that's not on the phone. So the long and the short of this is that you can use Siri to automate the airplane mode function of your phone and not have to go look for the button to turn it back off or on once you
that's
adjust
good.
it. Yeah. So, and I'll demonstrate here. It should work, but I never know until I get in front of you guys and it doesn't work. So I'm gonna try. Hey Siri. First, hang on a second.
Screen read photos.
Okay. Hey Siri. Turn airplane mode on.
Okay, I turned airplane mode on.
So now if I ask Siri a question like it needs to go fetch it from the cloud, it's not going to be able to do that. So say, let me ask something. Hey Siri,
Like try to make a phone call.
what's the news today?
To do that, you'll need to turn off airplane mode.
So right now it can't even go find it. And like Patty said, calls. You can't do anything. The phone is just dead to the world.
Calendar. Tuesday,
But
April 19th.
But fortunately for us blind folks, is we can turn airplane mode back off and then resume. In the past, we couldn't do that. We'd have to go to the settings and use voiceover and find the airplane mode and then flip it back off. So now I'm going to try to turn it back off and see if Siri responds. Hey Siri, turn airplane mode off.
Okay, airplane mode is now off.
Yay.
What's the weather today?
It's currently clear and 84 degrees. Temperatures are heading down from 84 degrees to 73 tonight.
So that's kind of nice if you're traveling. You don't have to worry about airplane mode anymore and turning it on or off. And having it go, be easy one way and then try to turn it back off the other way, trying to use your gestures. You can do it all through Siri. So Siri does
Yeah.
have some local functionality, which is good. So just wanted to show that for all you travelers out there.
Yes,
See
thank
here.
you.
Personal hotspot.
Another thing I wanted to cover was, has anybody ever used the personal hotspot feature of your phone?
Yes,
Okay.
I have.
have.
It's Maggie.
All right, so what a personal hotspot is your phone takes your cellular data, your AT&T, your consumer cellular, your phone data, and only your phone data, and it makes it available to other people for internet purposes, for Wi-Fi purposes. It's like you're creating your own Wi-Fi hotspot, and people can connect to your phone and go to the internet, or other devices can connect. So for example, if you have an Apple TV and you don't have Wi-Fi at your house, but you have your phone, or if you have an iPad, let's say, and you don't have Wi-Fi for it, either way, it's all the same. You can open up your phone, go to your personal hotspot, you can enable it. You can take your Apple TV or your iPad and connect it to the Wi-Fi network that your phone just created. It's usually called just iPhone. It'll be in the Wi-Fi network list. And then you can then connect to your phone and use your phone's cellular data to browse the internet. So I'm going to show you where this is at. So you go into settings. Go into settings.
Settings. Settings. Focus. Button. Rows 1 to 6 of 100. Bluetooth.
So it's at the very top. There's airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and then cellular.
Cellular. Personal hotspot.
It's called personal hotspot. So if I go in there,
Personal hotspot on your iPhone can provide internet access to other devices signed into your iCloud account without requiring you to enter the password.
okay. So again, what it does, it provides Wi-Fi for people that you want to give Wi-Fi to. And let me just keep going down. I'll explain as I go.
Allow others to join. Off.
So that button
Double
says
tap to toggle set.
allow others to join. That determines whether your hotspot is on or off. If that is on, that means your phone is now a router that people can connect to. And it's essentially what it is. When you turn this on, your phone in your hands becomes a wireless router that other people can connect to. So if we keep going.
Wi-Fi password. Roads 82.
So what you do on that, you can give it a password that others will need to connect to your phone. If you like I said in the beginning, if your iPad or your Apple TV is connected to the same iCloud account as your phone, then passwords won't be necessary because it'll negotiate that and it'll know it's a safe device to allow on the internet. And then down here,
allow other users or devices not signed into iCloud to look for your shared network iPhone. 2. When you are in personal hotspot settings or when you turn it on in Control Center.
So anyway, that's kind of what that does. That allows you to get, you can connect to others the same way. If somebody else puts out a hotspot and you trust it, you can connect to their hotspot just like you would connect to your wireless at the house. In fact, that's what it is. It's a Wi-Fi, a wireless Wi-Fi. That's what that is. So any questions on the personal hotspot?
Settings. Back
All
button.
right, so we're gonna go back.
Settings.
Let's see where we're at here.
Display and brightness.
So another bit of settings that I wanted to go over.
Can I ask one
And
question on that? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yes,
had on mute. The question is, my iPad I don't have a current chip for it. It'll work at home with my home Wi-Fi, but if I go out, can I make it work with my iPhone by
That's
turning on
exactly-
hotspot?
That's exactly what this does. So you create a
Wonderful.
personal hotspot, and then you can, I would put a password on it so not just anybody can jump on your new
It's got
Wi-Fi
one,
net.
yeah.
Yeah. And you would just connect to the Wi-Fi that you created with your iPad in the vicinity of your phone. Just put your phone down, connect to your phone, your Wi-Fi iPhone network, put in the password.
Cool.
And it's just like you're at
Cool.
home.
Because the iPad is a bigger device. It's easier to use.
Yes.
But I'm not going
Very
to give.
handy.
I'm not going to pay $15 a month to use it outside the house. So
Right.
there's the solution.
Yeah. Now, the only caveat here, there's always a caveat,
Okay.
is that it
Okay.
can only use cellular data. So you
I
can't
have
share.
unlimited.
Okay. Well, in that case, you
Yeah.
are good to go.
Go
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it.
Thank you.
Well, let me tell you what the hotspot doesn't do, so you never be confused.
Okay.
A hotspot will never take a Wi-Fi that you are connected to and then reshare it. It will never do that. It can only share your phone's cellular signal. That's all it can do, no more. So if you're in a library somewhere and you're hooked to the Wi-Fi and you wanted to connect to that through your phone, it would be impossible. But you could share your cellular data with anybody that you want. So just an FYI. That's
Cool.
and that's how it works.
Thank you.
You got it. So display and brightness settings. These are more for the low vision folks here. If you want
Right.
to make your screens bigger and more contrasty, this would be a good amount of settings to go over. So let's run through them real quick because I think knowing what to do, you might be able to make your devices a little bit better, a little bit easier to see. Okay, so let's go.
Search. Dictate.
Oops, wait a minute. What am I doing here?
Search. Search field.
Okay, hang on.
Cellular. Personal hot notification.
Okay, I'm back. Here we go.
Sounds and focus. Screen time. General. Control set. Display and brightness.
So it's called display and brightness, and it's right under control center, which is under general. So it's pretty close to the top of the list. So display and brightness.
Display and bright appearance. Heading.
So the first thing in display and brightness, when you go into those settings, is called appearance. And you have two options for appearance. One is light and the other is dark. So if you're a person who likes to see kind of white screens with black lettering, then you're going to want to use the light setting. But if you like the inverse of that, if you like dark backgrounds with white letters, then you're going to want to use the dark setting. I have mine on dark because I can see those better. The white screens kind of wash it out for me. And white screens are normally, that's the normal mode, by the way, for your phone. So dark is the override mode, so to speak. So you get light and dark, and then the next thing under that.
Automatic. Off.
So automatic.
Tap to toggle.
Automatic control of brightness may not be desired because maybe we need it to be blasting as much light out of it as possible, no matter what the lighting conditions are around you. So the idea with this is that as light conditions change, your screen will dim or brighten accordingly. So if you're in a dark place, your screen will dim. But that may not be desirable for us. Maybe we need it to stay at a higher brightness so we can see things. So I would definitely keep that one off unless automatic dimming at night is not a problem for you. So let's keep going. And then of course, under that, you can adjust the brightness to a level of your choosing if you don't have automatic turned on. So there's a slider here underneath that. Let me just get over to it.
Brightness. Heading. Screen brightness. 67%.
So my screen brightness is 67%. But if your eyes need more brightness, you may have to kick that up to 80 or maybe even 100, depending on where your eyes are. And that can change over time. Or maybe if your eyes get too sensitive to light, you have to maybe dial that back. So we'll keep going.
True tone. Off. Automatically adapt to iPhone display based on ambient lighting conditions to make colors appear consistent and.
So kind of like the brightness setting, True Tone will adjust colors. because in certain lights, colors will change the way they look. In a blue color, let's say in a darker setting, will look darker blue, where in a lighter setting, a higher amount of brightness around you, ambient light, that same blue will look light blue. This is supposed to compensate for that. It's supposed to try to give you an even tone through all I don't know, all levels of brightness. You know, it tries to keep the blue blue instead of going light to dark. That's what True Tone does. So let's keep going.
Night shift, 10 p.m. to
So night shift is great if you're a night owl with your phone, because what it does is it reduces the blue light that interferes with your sleep cycle. So it takes the blues and the whiter lights out of the screen, and you get a dimmer, yellower kind of actually ugly, to be honest with you. But it's better when you're sleeping, and it doesn't interfere with the way your body responds to that kind of light. So you want to use that if you have trouble sleeping with the phone around, especially if it's on. If you're playing something as you go to sleep, you know, you might want to turn this setting on, this night shift on. And then night shift only stays on for a period of time. And you say from like 10 at night to 7 in the morning, and then it goes back to a normal screen. So it's just there to keep that light that keeps us from sleeping from being broadcasted out of your phone to your eyes. Let's see.
auto lock, 2 minutes, button.
Okay, auto lock is the time that it takes for your phone to go to the lock screen after a certain amount of inactivity. So if I get 2 minutes of inactivity, whatever's on my screen goes away, and my lock screen with the clock comes on, and that saves your battery. You know, because when you lock it, when it goes to the lock screen and it dims, it doesn't have to keep the LEDs in the backlighting situation here so bright. It dims them really far down. So that's good to save your battery. The shorter this time is, the more savings in battery you're going to have. If you open up all the way, your battery will probably deplete a lot faster, because you'll have to remember to close to put your screen into lock mode manually. So this happened to a few of my students, and when we set it back up for a minute or two, or however many minutes, their battery life increased by leaps and bounds. So the next thing.
Raise to wake, off.
So raise to wake, what it is when you bring the phone up from a position and it's locked, and you bring it to your face, the phone will automatically wake up because it'll detect your face. It's like a facial detection thing. It's not Face ID, it's just detecting that there's a face there, and it knows to turn things on because you're looking at it. If you turn that on, it does it automatically. If you turn it off, you're gonna have to press the home button to wake it up. Let's see here.
Text size.
Text size is really good. That's the next setting, because you can adjust the text size to be bigger. Let's say if you're low vision and you just can't see the words, well, you can take the slider and move text size up to make everything bigger. But you got to be careful, because if you move it up too much, a lot of apps won't display properly, and you'll get fragments of messages instead of the whole thing, because it doesn't know how to do some of the layouts for real big text on a small screen. So you want to use whatever you need, but not any more than that. And less is more in this case. But if you need more, just try to be conservative as possible with that increasing that setting. Okay, then bold text.
Bold text.
Just like it sounds, it takes regular
Double tap to toggle.
regular weighted text, and it makes it bolder. It just makes it thicker, the words, the letters and the words. And that's really good for us too, because it stands out more, especially if you have a high contrast situation. Bold text will pop out of the screen more than regular text.
Display zoom, heading.
So display zoom, that's a feature that's been more recent in the past few years. So what it does, it takes your icons and everything else, and it makes them as big as it can make them without having to change the screen size. So if you have, I don't know, let's say 15 or 16 icons on the front screen, and they take up a certain amount of space. If you go to the zoom display, they'll all be on the same screen, but they'll be slightly bigger, where it doesn't cause this overflow on the screen, but it makes them bigger so you can see the text and you can see the icons more clearly. It's just like a step up for everything. It's like a scaling, I believe, is what they call it. And let's see what else we got.
View, zoomed, button.
So yeah, if you choose the zoomed view, then things will be bigger. And then the normal view, things will be smaller.
Rows 5 to 10 of 10.
And I think that's it for display and brightness. If you follow those, if you go to each one of those and set them where you like it, the experience on your phone is going to be better. It's going to be nicer and easier to read. So any questions on that?
Manny?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Maggie. Would you explain grayscale?
So grayscale, okay, that's a good question, by the way. So if you, so black and white is not truly black and white, okay? Black and white is really grayscale. So darker colors are darker shades of gray, and lighter colors are lighter shades of gray. It's like if you're watching an old black and white movie, it's not really black and white because there's more than two colors. It's gray, and that's what grayscale is. So you have, on one side, you have white, and on the other side, you have black. And then all that stuff in the middle are representations of colors, but they're not colors anymore. They're just shades of gray. And that's what that is. So I don't know if that makes any sense or if it makes a difference. But yeah, some people will simplify the colors to get a better contrast, because that's the name of the game for us, is brightness and contrast. So if you wanted to switch your display to a black and white grayscale thing, well, that's good, because you might be able to see things a little more clearly when you simplify the colors. But it may be bad if you're trying to look, let's say, at a picture and you want to see the color of that hibiscus flower. It's going to be all gray, so I don't know. Just depends on your vision, and what your needs are. So good question, Maggie.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what else we got here.
Settings. Message body. Text field. Is that it? Message body. Text. Remind. Settings.
Okay, how are we doing on time? I didn't even check time.
8:29 p.m.
Oh, we're right on time. Look at that, 8:30. So if there's any questions about anything I went over tonight, now might be a good time before we shut it down. Anybody, or Barbara, do you have any comments or anything you want to say? Or?
Did you want to do the medical ID and health app?
Yeah, we can look at that real quick. So your medical ID is no longer in your health app. I don't know if anybody has noticed that. You have to go to settings to get to your medical ID information, okay? Your health app is much more involved now in tracking your statistics of exercise, standing, non-standing, sitting down, any exercise you've done that it detects, walking, steps, things like that. And they're trying to expand that anyway to do more kinds of sensors like blood pressure and whatnot. They can do heart rate now with the watch, but your phone and your watch together can do a whole lot. It can give you like a lot of information like steps. And they recommend, it depends on what your doctor tells you, that you should get, close to 10,000 steps a day. And I think I did 10 today, so I'm real far off. But you should try to get as many steps in as possible to keep as physically healthy as you can. So Barbara is talking about medical ID, and that is a list of your doctors, your prescriptions, your allergies, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to show you where that is on your phone, and you should probably fill that out when you get a chance, because just in case, hopefully it never happens, if EMTs need to get your information, it'll be there for them, and they won't give you something that you're allergic to, or they'll know what medications you're on without having to ask a family member who may or may not know. So let me go find that right now.
8:31 p.m.
Okay.
Settings.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back.
Settings. Settings.
I'm gonna do something Barbara always tells me to do. I'm just gonna search for it.
Search.
I know it's under the health setting, but let's just get to it quick.
Search. Search field. Search.
Medical ID.
Inserted medical ID.
So if I look at the results of my medical ID search,
Clear text. Cancel. Search results. Health.
it's in the health settings, just like I said. So we're gonna go there.
Health. Health. Settings.
So I'm
Back
gonna
button.
go down this screen a little bit. If anybody's got a question, I'll stop, but I'm gonna go find the medical ID setting here.
Health. Allow health to access. Syrian search. Notifications. Medical details. Setting. Health details. Medical ID. Button.
So it's called medical ID. It's in the health screen. I have the phone up so you can see what's highlighted there for the visual people. And we will double tap on that. I don't know if I got any like personal weirdness. In there.
Medical
Let's see.
ID. Button. Medical information.
Oh, my information is right. It says I have the bubonic plague, so that's good. Okay.
Hold it.
56 years old.
So
Sharing.
I'm
Lock screen.
56, even though I look older, I'm 56. That's what it says. And then I'm afraid to touch anything, so I don't know what it's going to say. So let me go down and see what happens. So
Medical conditions. Diet.
So I'm
medications,
diabetic,
Glipizide. Emergency contacts.
So I've got my conditions, my medicines. I got my emergency contacts here.
Partner. When you use emergency access. Heading. Show and locked. Enabled.
So this is the thing, show and lock screen. So if you make that, if you turn that on, EMTs can then look at your medical ID and glean that information that they need from you if they need to go there.
Right, and under the note, I have my doctor and my doctor's phone numbers.
That's right, that's right. And you want to list as much information as possible. And again, it's only between you and then of course the EMTs. Nobody else can look at your information. So I would definitely fill that out just in case. I've got mine filled out, but I've noticed that I haven't kept my medicines up to date. So I got to go back in there. So thank you for reminding me, Barbara, because I completely missed
Well,
that.
and if it's enabled, it will contact all your emergency people for you.
That's right. So let's say that an accident happens and you call emergency services. Well, not only will it call emergency services, but it'll call everybody in your emergency contact list and let them know that you called emergency services. So that's kind of nice. And it even gives them your location wherever you're at. So it's a very handy thing to have just in case. Hopefully you'll never need to use it. That's my hope. Let's see what else is down here just while we're here. I don't know what else is down here.
Your medical ID can be shared during the emergency. Your medical ID link.
That's it. Yeah, we pretty much covered the basics.
It has your blood type in there, and it has your allergies, drug allergies.
Yeah, it's got your weight and height and all this good stuff. So yes, very important. Thanks, Barbara, for bringing that up, actually. So any questions on medical ID or the health app?
Time to go to sleep. Oh,
Well,
Oh,
Barbara,
sorry, guys. What's up?
hey, John.
Hey, you guys done?
Let me check with Barbara. Barbara, are we done?
We're done.
All right.
We're done.
Gonna cut the recording then.
Thank you, John.
good night.
Thank you
Good
so
night,
much,
everybody.
Manny.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.